setting up the third camera, are we?
Yes.
Okay, all right.
Oh.
So I met,
How you doing?
good, I met the cameraman Saturday night. He said,
Who was it Saturday?
Robert? I've never seen him before.
Brian, maybe?
Maybe it was Brian
Okay.
at the party Saturday night.
Glasses and stuff? Glasses?
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah. Yeah, he's there. Yep.
I will be out here in a second.
Yeah, good.
I do have a mug shot for you this time.
Perfect.
So Tanya, you don't need to worry about it. Are you ready yet? Are you getting there? We have a microphone put up there.
Yeah, okay. We'll wait. Everybody ready? Okay, with me are Dan Ishu over my right shoulder, the Genesee Township Supervisor, and to my left, your right, is Phil Hart, the Police Chief of Genesee Township. So I'm going to talk a little bit about the facts of this case that led us to the decision to issue charges in the case, and then I'll detail the charges at that point. The sad saga starts on March the 3rd when Genesee Township Police were dispatched to 5452 North Dort Highway, which is the Flint Motel, which is in the city of Flint. At the motel, investigators observed that room 18 was open, and outside of the open door was a comforter laying on the ground, soaked in what appeared to be blood. There was also a blood-stained mattress and kitty litter on top of that blood-stained mattress, and there was kitty litter on the floor just to the left of the bed where the mattress likely had been. Blood was also observed on the wall behind and to the left of the bed, and there was another set of blood-stained sheets observed on the right side of the bed. In the bathroom, there were also bloodstains on the floor. Investigators, after viewing that, made contact with the manager and asked him who rented out this room, and the answer was Christina Elizabeth Barber. Now, we're going to go back one day. On March the 2nd, 911 was contacted by an individual who was asking for a welfare check on a coworker, and the coworker's name was Christina Elizabeth Barber. The individual said that she had not been to work in a week and that she was not answering her telephone. And the caller also reported that Ms. Barber had been having trouble with her boyfriend, a gentleman named Christopher. We'll talk more about him in a minute. Follow-up interviews with coworkers revealed that Ms. Barber's relationship with her boyfriend was difficult, tumultuous, and that he had threatened to kill her on multiple occasions. These interviews also revealed that this boyfriend, Christopher, also had worked at the Burger King, at least for a while. And while he worked there, he in fact had been violent at the workplace. In one instance, he got angry with the manager of the Burger King and actually ripped the handles off the door of her car. So it was believed that this fellow had a bit of a temper. Back to March 4th, the Genesee Township Police were dispatched to a body found at West Boulevard and Massachusetts Avenue along the banks of the Flint River, and that might be the missing person, Christina Barber. When Genesee Township officers arrived at the Flint River bank, there were already Flint City police officers on the scene, and the Flint police officers stated that they responded to a 911 call in reference to a person who was looking for a place to fish, and that he had found a garbage bag, a black garbage bag, with what appeared to be toes from a person sticking out of the bag. Genesee Township Police, who, by the way, did an absolutely terrific investigation, discovered that there was surveillance video at the motel. There was significant different pieces of the video that they watched, but I'm going to tell you about a couple in particular. On February the 28th, at approximately 1:20 in the morning, Ms. Barber and a gentleman later identified as Christopher Moultrie arrive in a 2001 Ford F-150 pickup, white with a gray bed and teal tailgate. That pickup pulls in front of room 18 at the Flint Motel, and it appears Ms. Barber and Mr. Moultrie go into room 18. Later, February 29th, at approximately 8 p.m., Moultrie, and only Moultrie, comes out with what appears to be a body in a plastic bag in a fireman's carry and puts it into the bed of his truck. You never see Ms. Barber again. Based on that information, I believe we have probable cause to charge Christopher Aston Moultrie with the following crimes. Count 1, first-degree murder, premeditated, which is a felony punishable by life in prison without the possibility of parole. Count 2, tampering with evidence in a criminal case, punishable by more than 10 years. Obviously, the underlying homicide is punishable by more than 10 years. The tampering with evidence charge is a felony punishable by up to 10 years in prison. Count 3, concealing the death of an individual. That is a felony punishable by up to 5 years in prison. And count 4, domestic violence, which is a misdemeanor punishable by up to 93 days in jail. With that, I'll stop and I'll ask Chief Hart if he would like to make any comments. Chief.
Thank you, sir. Thank you for coming today. As Mr. Layton said, this was quite a complicated investigation, and all the pieces fell in place thanks to his office. We relied on them very heavily for some guidance, search warrants, and actually we're still working with them very closely on this matter, getting them everything that they're going to need as we turn this over to them for prosecution.
Thank you, Chief. Questions? Go ahead.
Is it assumed that, what took place the night of February 28th or, the morning of February 29th, and then the body was then transported to where it was found?
Yeah, we think that after they checked into the motel, and we see them on surveillance video, obviously they're both still alive. After that point, in that motel room, we believe there was some kind of an altercation that led to Mr. Moultrie killing Ms. Barber, and then he removes her body, as we saw in the video, with the fireman's carry in a plastic bag. He takes it to the banks of the Flint River and deposits her body there. That's our theory of the case, yes.
Thank you.
And when did you say the body was
February 29th, I think was the date. Let me look back, just to make sure we get those dates right. Get all my papers mixed up now. He takes the body out on the 29th. March 4th is the date that the police were dispatched to the banks of the Flint River, and that's when the body's discovered, March 4th.
So, would it be like easier to find the body as the weather got warmer?
Well, it wasn't in the river, it was on the banks of the river, so it just was a matter of time before somebody came along to that spot and discovered that body. And there's frequently fishermen along the banks of the river, so it was inevitable it was going to be discovered. There had been another body in the Flint River, unrelated to this case, that had been discovered within a few days of this particular situation, but unrelated.
Oh, really?
Mhm.
What was that about?
Well, I don't know, I don't have those facts with me today.
So it was boyfriend, they were not married at all?
Ms. Barber was not married, she'd been divorced. Mr. Moultrie was married, but he was having an affair with Ms. Barber, and Ms. Barber was trying to get out of that affair, according to the interviews that Genesee Township Police conducted with co-workers, and Mr. Moultrie was not necessarily being cooperative about that. And I'm obviously putting it very lightly here.
Now, the wife in this aspect, is she any part of this at all?
She has been very cooperative with the investigators, given information as needed, but she's not a suspect.
And can we have the spelling of the suspect's name?
Sure, it's Christopher with a PH. Middle name is Astin, A-S-T-I-N. Last name Moultrie, M-O-T-R-Y.
And now he has been arraigned, when was that?
John, when he was arraigned,
Friday,
Right.
held without bond.
held without bond, yes. And I believe a probable cause conference is March 21st.
Did the victim have any children?
Yes, she has, I believe, 7. I believe I read that she had 7 children. And some of those children have reached out to the investigators.
Are they all of age at this point?
They're adult children.
Does Christopher have any priors?
We, don't talk about that, so,
But you did mention an incident at Burger King.
yes.
How long before was that?
Fairly recently, he worked at the Burger King, as did she. And at some point, he was let go from the Burger King because he'd had an outburst. And the outburst involved being kind of violent with the property of his manager. And she told investigators the story.
So they were co-workers at one point?
Correct.
So they had adult children, what were their ages?
The children?
No, the suspect and the victim.
The victim's 48. Unfortunately, they don't put the ages on the complaints anymore.
I believe he's 34.
Okay, thanks.
That's,
Yes.
So again, township police were dispatched on March 3rd to that hotel,
Yes.
and video is showing February 28th, 29th. The video you said was showing,
28th, they come in. The 29th, he goes out alone. Well, not alone, but with her, we believe, over his shoulder. Okay, we good?
So where is that located, about how far is it from the
What's that?
body was dumped, that hotel?
From what?
From where the body was dumped?
Chief?
Oh, yes. That's, it's going to be, the Flint Hotel's on Dort Highway. It's gonna be north of Carpenter. And where that was dumped is down, Boulevard in Massachusetts. So you're talking about down off of Dort Highway, where it turns just before Franklin. You'd come back a little bit to the west and north.
Okay,
2 miles
About
maybe?
2.5 miles, yes.
okay.
Easy trip from there, actually.
Do we know how long it took him to dispose of this body? Is still,
No. Okay, thank you. Appreciate you coming out.
Keep going, here you go.
Thank you, much appreciated.
Yeah, you're welcome, good to see you.
Are you gonna email this also?
I can email it to you, yeah. I know digitally it would be better, right? If I don't, remind me, right? I know you will.
with an email.
Oh, yes, yeah, okay, yeah,
Thank you.
yep, yep.